It's been quite an eclectic mix for me, Philster.
Greetings, Groovers. Welcome to Full Record Jacket with Phil and Ben. Me being Phil and he being Ben. So, Ben, it's time to ask that perennial question.
Yes.
What have we been listening to?
Oh, I didn't realise it was going to be that question. I thought the question might have been something, different. Like, what are you recording the show in? And I would have said a hoodie and just my pants.
On this occasion, we don't need to know. So,
okay. What
shall we alternate? Shall we alternate? Who's starting? You go first.
I'll go first then. I have been listening again this week to the Remy Zero album from 2002, The Golden Hum. So I've had that on. Still one of my favourite albums of the early 2000s. So I know I said it, I was listening to it last time we did this, but I'm still listening to it now. So haters gonna hate. Do you want any more, or are you going with yours next?
I'll go with mine next. Now, today, it's the 21st
I've got about
of April.
5 or 6, so I've got a few.
Yeah, I've got about the same. So it's the 21st of April, which is the 9th anniversary of the death of Prince. I know I go on about Prince a little bit, don't I? But I did feel I had to put him on. So I have been playing this, and this is Ultimate Prince. Now, I didn't actually buy this. I was given this as somebody got hold of a whole job lot of CDs, and they gave it to me. They didn't want it. They gave it to me because they knew I liked Prince. Right? So I never really bought this compilation, but it came out in 2006. It wasn't a cash-in on him dying compilation, but it was a Warner Brothers doing their own thing with what they had the rights to because he couldn't stop them. So you get some nice pictures there.
That is an awesome afro.
And then what I actually played was disc 2, and disc 1 of this has got. Disc 1 is all the hits you'd expect to be on there, right? And a few things that are unusual, like, and you got Purple Rain and Diamonds and Pearls and Controversy and I Would Die for You, but then you've got things like Money Don't Matter Tonight. You don't hear that very often, do you? And Uptown, that. And then disc 2, they put some of the well-known songs on disc 2, but they put them on in the 12-inch versions, which is interesting. So you get the 12-inch version of Let's Go Crazy, Little Red Corvette, Raspberry Beret, and Kiss, probably the four best-known songs on there. A few others as well, but that makes it, to me, that makes this worth having because I think it's the only CD that's got some of those 12-inch.
You always get a lot more from a 12-incher than you do a 7-incher.
That's what Prince told the ladies as well, apparently, yes.
Yeah. It was only about 12 inches high.
Exactly.
He weren't the tallest, was he? Well, next on my list, Phil, so things I've been listening to, because obviously this is a fortnight's worth, isn't it? So, but remember before our 2-week hiatus, I went to a country and western night, country night. So the lead singer of Country Hits is a guy called Lars Pluto, which I think is a great name.
You discovered Pluto, basically.
Lars Pluto, what a name that is. But he's got a band. He's got a band called Lars Pluto and the Reavers. So I gave them a little listen, to be fair, and it weren't too bad. It was easy listening country. I'm not a massive fan of modern country. I'm more of your sort of Waylon Jennings and Hank Wankman and people like that. But it was good. It's a good listen. He's on the Spotify. You can check him out on there. They've only got 47 monthly listeners. One of the tracks I listened to was called Dear Country Music. And it's basically him having a pop at modern country music, which is, and he swears in it a little bit as well, which is always nice. So, but yeah, it's worth a listen. I like a different sort of slant on stuff. Oh, I'm going to nip off the screen for a second because no, I'm not. I've just got to flick that switch. I forgot to turn the socket on to charge my laptop up. So, but yeah, it's worth a listen, dude. It was good. So,
Well,
yeah,
talking of having a different slant on things, because it was Easter, I put this on, and this is kind of a different slant on
100
someone.
Easter hits.
No, someone well known. It's Elvis Presley.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And this is his his second gospel album. Came out in 1966, called "How Great Thou Art." This is how it was packaged originally. This is a little
Awful
replica
album cover.
from the box set. Yeah, some of them were like that in there. But they also reproduced the old record label.
Yeah.
On
How
the
tall
CD.
was Elvis? I've never asked that question before.
I don't know. I did read somewhere that he was 5'10". I don't know whether that's correct.
Because I always have this image of him being really tall.
It's because he's the king, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people, particularly in this country, have never really heard a lot of Elvis gospel, have they? But when you put it on, some of it's sort of ballads, and some of it's sort of like, rave up, praise the Lord stuff. It's actually quite entertaining, and he loved doing that sort of music. So it was, he was really in his.
Well, that was his roots, wasn't it? That sort of gospel.
It was big part of his roots, of course.
Yeah.
So I had that on. What else have you had on?
Well, I went back to the noughties a little bit. A band that doesn't really get talked about from that period really enough, and a BRMC, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
Forgotten about them. Yeah.
So I had their debut album on, called Black Rebel. Well, I think on the cover, if I remember rightly, it says BMRC, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. But obviously it's got like Love Burns, Whatever Happened to My Rock and Roll, As Sure as the Sun, White Palms. I forgot what a really great album that was. I really, I don't know why they didn't become bigger than. I think they're still going. I'm pretty sure they're still going.
Wasn't that named after the Marlon Brando movie?
Yeah.
Or the gang in the Marlon Brando movie.
Yeah,
which one that is.
I think it came out. Did it come out roughly around the same time as the Strokes album?
I think it was the early 2000s.
I think it was about 2001. I'm sure it was. But I really enjoy that album. It's got that sort of fuzzy guitar on it, and
that was a British band, wasn't it?
No,
or was it American?
American.
I can't remember now.
I'm sure they're American.
The Strokes were by far the biggest British band at that time, weren't they? Or the
British
American band.
The Strokes.
So I meant to say American band.
Blimey, Riley Filster.
My brain's gone. But maybe it was. Did the Strokes overshadow them, and is that why they didn't get?
Well, that's what I think. I think they. Oh, they had an album out in 2018. Let's have a look. Let's see if it tells me anything about them. I think they are American. They're American. Yeah. But yeah, really good album. I forgot what they kind of get lost in the haze of that sort of early noughties period, because there seem to be 10 bands coming out a week. Because remember the Cooper Temple Clause? Do you remember them at all?
Vaguely.
Because they did that song, Think About Your Enemies, and it sounded like Liam Gallagher singing it.
Yes.
Really great track. They're from San Francisco, Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. So, yeah, Cooper Temple Clause, another sort of band that doesn't sort of... And JJ72, that Irish band of kids, but the guy sounded like he had a voice of a 45-year-old guy who'd seen some action.
Right.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that album, and it's... Yeah, it's a good album, that one, the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. I think I had the second album as well. I'm pretty sure I had the second album, which is a good album. So I'm just trying to find out what the Cooper Temple Clause song was called that had the... Because I bought the... See Through This and Leave? Yeah, See Through This and Leave, that was it. And that came out in 2001. and the track was called "Who Needs Enemies." And when it got released, everybody thought it was an Oasis track, because I think at the time, didn't Liam Gallagher do a song what sounded very much like the Status Quo song, the Matchstick Men song? What was the song he did? Was it with Death in Vegas or somebody like that? Scorpio Rising. Do you remember that track?
I
That
do
was all around
vaguely.
that sort of time, wasn't it? That was all sort of... Yeah, the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. Yeah, I forgot what a good album that was. So, but yeah, that was 2001. I'm just trying to see if I can find the release date. That was April 2001. I think the Strokes came out later, didn't it?
It came out in about September 2001, The Strokes.
Yeah, because it had to remove the New York City Cops track, didn't it?
They
July.
removed it in America, yeah.
Yeah. It came out in July the 30th, 2001 in Australia. So, yeah, 30th
That was
July.
the BMRC, yeah.
Yeah. No, that was the Strokes. This is it.
The Strokes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the BMRC album, yeah, it was worth revisiting, Philster.
I must do that. Let's have another listen.
Yeah, it was good. It was just sort of dirty rock, if you know what I mean. That sort of
from dirty rock to dad rock. Do you remember we did our little dad rock show the other day?
We did, yeah. Oh, what's we've got Love Over Gold. Is that Neil Young? No, it's not Neil Young. I know Love Over Gold. That's Dire Straits.
It is.
Oh, it is Dire Straits, yeah.
It's the one with the lightning strike on the front.
Yes, I've got that. I think I've got 2 copies of it.
Have you? From various vinyl collections.
And then I've got the one where it looks like he's got the luminous headband on. It's like you can't see.
That's the
face.
Compilation. That's the Money for Nothing. Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
Love Over Gold. Only got 5 songs on it. This is kind of like their progressive album. It's got some very long tracks on it. Hadn't heard it for years and years and years, and put it on. And you know what? It is one of those albums that if you can dig this kind of thing, it is good all the way through. Telegraph Road, 14-minute song kicks it off. Then you've got Private Investigations. Remember that one? Where it's mainly him talking on it.
I don't think I've listened to that.
You'll know the music. If you hear Private Investigations, the music, there's a bit of the music, particularly towards the end, the instrumental section, where you'll know the music. You'll think, I've heard this before. It's been used on TV.
Yeah. And... I did try listen to prog rock. I bought some Emerson, Lake and Palmer and stuff like that, but it just never...
I mean, this isn't really proper prog rock. It's just because they did long songs and they did some instrumental passages, it made it a little bit more that way. But some people love this as the best Dire Straits album. Some people have preferred others, but it is. If you stick it on, I think you might quite enjoy that if you stick that on.
Yeah. Well, I've got 2 more albums. Oh, you've got another one. I've got 2 more. Oh, I've got 2.
Go on.
I obviously my early 2000s thing kicked in, and obviously I listened to Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. I listened to the David Gray White Ladder album, and because that was released and didn't really do a lot. I think at the time he had to remortgage his house and anything to fund it. And then it just became absolutely massive, didn't it? I think every track on it almost got released as a single. And it's another one of those albums where I was like, do you know what? It does take me back to a time, and I did enjoy listening to it. It's very easy listening, sort of that. What's the song is it not White Ladder? What's the one, the big single from it?
The one where he sings "Let Go in Our Hearts, Let Go in Our Heads." Something
that's
like
the
that.
one. Yeah.
Then he hits Babylon. That's it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that for years, but it used to be played
everywhere.
No,
I hadn't either. And then things like Sail Away, Please Forgive Me, This Year's Love. And I forgot what a massive album that was at the time. And I think he got released.
He was a male Dido.
He was, yeah. Lift Music. But Dido, there's another album. I listened to that not long ago, and that was good. But I'm pretty sure this was his last chance saloon, this album, to sort of to do anything, and it worked for him. And fair play. I'm pretty sure, I'll look it up, but I'm pretty sure it was released before it was released like a year, or it was released a long time before it went big. I think Babylon as a single was released and then got re-released because it kicked off massively. And I think it might have had something to do with, was it Joe Wiley or Zoe Ball? That sort of period of Radio 1 in the early 2000s must have played it a lot. So yeah, here we go. It was first released, so White Ladder was the album title. It was first released in November 1998 through Grey's own record label, but failed to chart. On April 24th, 2000, the album was re-released by Dave Matthews' label, ATO Records, and debuted at number 69 on the UK charts, before climbing to number 1 on the 5th of August 2001. So almost 3 years, if my maths is right, after it was released, it went to number 1 in the UK charts. There can't be many albums that have done that. But yeah, it went massive. It sold hugely. Had 8 singles released from it, which I know a couple of them were remixes, but This Year's Love was released in 1999, and the final single was released at the end of December 2001. So, what? I don't know how many, 33 months apart? So that's crazy, really. But it's another good, if you like that kind of thing, bit of folky sort of, and fair play to David Gray for sticking at it. So
Yeah, you can't knock it, can you? I mean, people do knock that album, but I guess if he'd been a cult artist and he hadn't had massive success and been played everywhere, a lot of music fans might have said it was a good album. But then, because when it became so successful, had to slag him off.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, I don't blame him for releasing, I'd say 8 singles, because This Year's Love,
probably a record company decision, wasn't
it? Yeah, and Please Forgive Me and This Year's Love was released twice. But even so, if it's to go through all that heartache and everything to have a successful album, fair play for cashing in on it and making some money out of it, Philster. But looking at this, it is one of the longest charting albums in UK history. Ooh,
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I recognise that album cover. Weren't we talking about this the other day? Is it Traffic?
We were. It's Traffic.
Yeah.
This is the second incarnation of Traffic. This is without Dave Mason.
Yeah.
But with Steve Winwood. Can you spot Steve Winwood there?
Is he the one in the middle?
No.
The one on the end?
He's the one on the end.
Thought so.
I think he's that one on the
tie thing on.
I think he's the one with the blue jacket on. I think he's on the other end.
Not the other man with the obviously far too tight trousers.
I'm pretty sure that's him in the blue jacket. Tell me if I've got that wrong. I'm pretty sure it's got to be that Steve Winwood, isn't it?
All I can see is the guy on the end with the rather tight trousers.
Well, Steve Winwood had, of course, briefly been in Eric Clapton's supergroup Blind Faith, and he'd been in the Spencer Davis group before that. But this is, say, the second sort of incarnation of Traffic. This came out in 1971, this album, and it's
the low spark.
Steve Winwood and Jim Capaldi provide alternate
Lewis's dad.
Yeah, and it is called, don't ask me what this all means, but it's called The Low Spark of High Heel Boys, which is a bit prog, isn't it? And it's not.
Yeah, the album cover is very prog.
There aren't flutes. Well, there is a little bit of flute, but not too much. But there aren't songs about fairies or stuff like that. It is a little bit bluesy, and it's a
Yeah.
little bit jazzy, and it's a little bit
Even
rocky.
seeing the album cover on the screen there with you holding up, it's a very good optical illusion.
Yeah. So it's got an 11+ minute title track. There's 6 songs on the album, so some quite long tracks on it. But I'd never heard it before. I know that this album was quite a big success in America, but it didn't reach the album charts in the UK. So this album was basically is regarded as a classic rock album in America, and in this country, a lot of people have never heard of it. I think it's good.
Got
I've listened to it a couple of
in
times.
Australia.
Yeah, a couple of times I've listened to it, and I'm digging it more each time. So that could become one of my favourite 1971 proggy type albums. Not that I have very many of those, but there you go.
No. I've never heard it. Maybe I should give it a wee listen.
You might like it if you put the title track on. You might like it. The Low Spark of High Heeled Boys. If you've got a spare 11 minutes and something.
Yeah, to
it fades in really slowly.
For
it's one
8
of the
minutes.
Longest, yeah, it's one of the longest fade-ins I've ever heard. It takes about a minute to get going, but
oh really?
It's good. You'll like it.
I can make a cuppa in that time, but you can't because you need at least 107 seconds to let your tea bag rest for. Well, my final bit of musical listening, Phil, and obviously I have listened to a couple of other artists when I've thought about buying their album, Gillian Moss, Liquid. But I did have a little bit of a reggae morning at work the other day. I had a bit of UB40, Bitty McLean, CJ Lewis, Shaggy on. I know it's your favourite type of music.
A bit of a faux reggae.
Yeah, a bit of Aswad. So, but no, the last one I've listened to is obviously the album that came a couple of days ago. I think Thursday is the Matchbox 20 live album, A Brief History of Everything, from their 2017 tour. One of those weird albums where it's 2 discs but only 3 sides, and I personally think they could have put some bonus tracks in. I think, why waste that 4th side? You could have put something on there. But yeah, I've had that on today. So yeah, it's completed my collection. The Matchbox 20 is done.
It's done.
It's done.
Groovy.
Yes, very much so.
Well, as last night was Sunday night,
it was.
I put some jazz on. I put some jazz on.
John Coltrane?
No.
No, what's that? Wynton Kelly Trio. Wes Montgomery. Smoking at the half note. Oh, that looks good.
Wes Montgomery is he's on guitar.
Yeah.
And this is one of the. I mean, I'm not an out-and-out jazz expert, but I know this is regarded as one of the best Wes Montgomery performances. This is cut in '66, obviously at the half note in New York, and it's the Wynton Kelly Trio. Now, Wynton Kelly, was played piano on 1 track on the Miles Davis kind of Blue album. He's on the 2nd track. The rest of the album is Bill Evans. Okay, I know that. And he's also got, in this trio, he has Jimmy Cobb on drums and Paul Chambers on bass. No, Jimmy Cobb and Paul Chambers on bass. They were the rhythm section on Miles Davis Kind of Blue. So,
do you want to know a fact about Miles Davis Kind of Blue?
You've got 5 copies of it?
No, I've got 2 copies, I think. But it's also... it's my alarm that wakes me up in the morning. I get woken up by Miles Davis Kind of Blue.
Isn't that more of a sort of chill out and go to bed at night album rather than a wake up in the morning?
I don't know why. I just asked my listening talkie device thing to wake me up at a certain time every day, and it pre-selected the Miles Davis. It does wake me up.
So does it start with the doom doom doom, and
Yeah.
does it play So What?
I can tell you what it plays. I don't think it's So What that it plays, but let me have a look. Actually, I think it is that. But let me just double check, because obviously there's no good me telling the story if I'm not going to complete the story. Where's my app? Oh, it's there. Let's have a look. I get woken up every day by, and it's going to be, come on, homepage. I'm on the homepage. Stupid thing. Oh, here we go. I get woken up. It normally go away. Not now. Music for you. Where's my alarm? It's see all four. No. Anyway, you don't need to know. It is a Miles Davis track. I just can't tell you which one it is, but I think it is the one you mentioned. But wait there. Music more reminders, alarms and timers. Here we go. Here we go. Miles Davis. What Miles Davis track is it? Music, Miles Davis. It is. It just says Miles Davis. But yeah, I get woken up by Miles Davis, so that's my little interesting fact for you, Phil, about that album.
I can't imagine waking up to sort of a little more of a late night, what I think of as a late night jazz tune, but each to their own.
Yeah. Do you know who else used to wake up to Miles Davis? Mrs. Davis.
I'm going to say, was it Fran, or his wife was his first wife? And okay.
Yeah, she used to wake up to Miles Davis. True fact, that, Phil. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to. I've got to apologise to people. I don't know whether it's because I've got the light shining in my eyes, but I look really dark, and I look like I've got no hair. I look like you, Phil. So yeah, that's my 2 weeks worth of listening. Yeah, that's my 2 weeks worth of listening.
There you go. Well, listener, viewer, what have you been listening to, and what should we listen to? What do you reckon? Any recommendations?
The Out Here Brothers. Boom, boom, boom. Let me say way-oh, way-oh. Say boom, boom, boom. Let me. Miles Davis first thing in the morning. He's 17.
Is anything you're planning to listen to, Ben?
I've got. Oh yeah, there is. I'll quickly tell you, because I've got the Smiths' debut album coming this week. That completes the Smiths then. And I've got the From Nothing to a Little Bit More by the Lathams to listen to. The acoustic sessions by Liam Gallagher. So that might be on my list of things to listen to this week. And then I've got some new albums to do in another show when I'm not upstairs and I'm downstairs next to my collection. But they're the week, I would have thought.
Now, I don't know about you, viewer, but Ben appears to have disappeared, and then he's come back, and it says that he will continue recording on a new track. I don't know quite why that is, but I can see him now, but I don't know whether he knows we are here. Do you know we're here,
Can you
Ben?
hear me? I can hear you.
I can hear you, but you seem to have entered on a second track, and you're quite quiet for some reason.
I have gone into the next dimension, Phil. I am not on your earthly plane anymore. Ooh.
Well, while we look into where Ben's gone, viewer, I'm going to thank you for watching this particular episode, and you'll find us again on a future one at some point.
Right,
Bye
get
for
back
now.
from this dimension.